up, taking artifacts out from country, any country. Not a desire that I might own, not something that I might do. However, these arrive to me from a source from across the sea, arriving by mail, arriving with a letter of authenticity to their Global Earth Reference find site and the date. Sent from the Badger's Den, the remarkable and talented Badger Bloomfield of New Zealand, identifying in photo the very artefacts you see before you, giving them their authenticity to being found upon site. New Zealand, rare, in a land today, a free country, yet one that deliberately, through government policy, suppresses its own history. Done so in a solution to end further wars for dominance of first, a causation from a great many tribes being dispersed off away from their custodial lands, forced onto another's. A policy that makes it impossible there today, through scientific method or general knowledge, to have an artefact find attested to its time frame. Making for artefact finds like these, left in the void of not knowing much of anything. A complete mystery there in New Zealand today. In a search abroad, helping to find answers, Badger Bloomfield of New Zealand wisely next posted some examples of the artefacts he's finding there, sending them to me here in Australia. Free, away from the suppression exists there in New Zealand. Next, let's have a looking through my eyes, helping shine some light. Let's begin with a look of what we've got. Firstly, obvious, are 3 rock types carrying some form of inscripting. Mysterious artifact remains. Illegible on first view. Indeed a mystery. Next, another, made of the same type of stone. Seemingly unremarkable, just a regular pebble. Next we see a soft clay mould, broken now. Badger assures me each of the artefacts' remains were found enclosed, wrapped in this clay substance. Badger from New Zealand explaining the finds in this way when he first dug them out from the ground, finding them looking very much like a potato, a random stone. Each of the artefacts, plain and simple, each one been folded into a clay bundle, protecting it. This one, very interesting in its clay wrapping, carrying woven within a fingerprint from its maker. A closer examination here of the piece of clay wrapping, this one carrying across it a fingerprint, also visible from underneath where the fingers press down into the mould, a mark from its creator. Applying my own fingers, dwarfing the size of this tiny fellow. Appears to have been dragged this way, finger going down. Applying my tiniest finger, still dwarfing the impression by probably another 40% less my size. A giant compared, leaving me to think it was either a child or a race of human pygmy left a clue behind. Some elaborately designed, and yet others just a plain old rock. And then, as Badger explained, there would be more again, carved in the form of ducks and random objects. Random in owning nothing recognisable to consider out from. A mystery. Random perhaps at first sight. However, this is an image I've seen many times before, coming out from antiquity. But greatly in this way, I've seen before from a society carry a number of titles. Amongst those, they're called the Westerners. The Westerners, who would, in a funerary rite, would help their dead in preparation for their afterlife, gifting to them a map of where to go next, where not to go. The Westerners, they feared greatly a great spirit that hides up there in the cosmos, hides within that dark space we see in the Milky Way, a large triangle when we look up that divides it. There, this great and deadly spirit, there he would catch human souls as they left Earth, zooming back into the stars in afterlife, in preparation to avoid the beast, this great spirit, God they feared, creating the maps to help the newly dead avoid his gaze. Creating these. Notice the triangle, the lines going up and down the sides. Up one side, down the next, and then a decisive line carved deep up through the middle. It's a directional. Where it is, it shows for the newly dead to avoid this beast that inhabits here in this dark spot, to go directly straight up the middle and out into the stars, escape. A celestial map, a known artifact type. One more clue, an important clue that will lead to answering Badger's excellent question. To these next two, again at first sight appearing rather random, hard to tell what it is that I have to offer. Random at first, perhaps, until we apply the dimension of light, finding out next, woven hidden behind, hiding in the shadows, appears a very human face. Looking on to the next. Sneaking behind to watch as it too, its shadow, unfolds there a very human face. The Westerners. Westerly flaming heads would be any best description to call as these artefacts. Where it was once one ancient society seen it that when preparing their dead, they would lay their body next to a heaped fire. The light from the flames casting a shadow of their head. Next, through ceremony, the head, along with the burning flames, would be carved into a soft soapstone, where for those it was their ideal that the soul lived inside a human head, capturing the shadow, capturing the soul.